Thank you, Caroline, for that moving speech. Ladies and gentlemen, Lord Guthrie Headmaster, I am blessed with the arduous task of trying to sum up my many years here at Stonyhurst and how they have had such a monumental impact on the lives of rhetoric and myself. I had previously never been further north than Cambridge, so adjusting to life in the Ribble Valley was quite difficult at first. I had particular trouble with the Lancashire dialect, which I found to be something of a foreign language. Phrases such as "beeritet" and "how thee" being just two of the incomprehensible expressions I was greeted with on my first day. I was concerned I would never feel at home in a place so far away from my native Buckinghamshire. I was to be proved wrong almost immediately. Soon I fell in love with everything Ribble, including sheep, rain, and the Lancashire hot pot. I leave with Stonyhurst and the Ribble Valley firmly engraved on my heart. Lower grammar was the most enjoyable year by far at Stonyhurst. Not because we were all new, not because we had no public exams, but because we had a playroom master who will forever be remembered in Stonyhurst folklore. Mr. Stephen Oliver, who has since left the school, was a special playroom master. Mainly because, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying, he was like something out of a Charles Dickens novel. Instead of arriving for secondary school in the 21st century, it was as if I had entered into national service in the 1950s. His legendary dorm inspections, which can be seen on YouTube, became the most stringent scrutiny of tidiness ever witnessed. You could be felled for a stray hair on a pillow, poorly folded pants, and for not having your shampoo bottle standing up straight. Poor personal hygiene did not escape the diligent gaze of Mr. Oliver either, and he famously remarked to one misfortunately moustached boy, "You're hairy, shave." My most memorable encounter with Mr. Oliver, however, was on my third night. It was 10:30 p.m. and I needed the loo, so naturally I proceeded to the bathroom where I greeted my friend who had just finished washing his hands. Mr. Oliver, who incidentally was a more rigorous Catholic than the Pope himself, must have convinced himself that either we were plotting to convert the entire playroom to Protestantism, or, perhaps worse, were seeking to smuggle in numerous copies of Dan Brown's Da Vinci, which had already been officially banned by the playroom master. He came in and asked us to follow him. We did, and only stopped when he briskly turned at the top of his voice for a good 10 minutes, scolding us. He ordered us to go down to the study centre and write out 2 essays and a letter of apology. It seemed a bit harsh to me, mainly because I had only gone to the loo, and surely you could not punish someone at 10:30 at night. I was tempted to tell Mr. Oliver this was a clear violation of my human rights, which at the time I believed to be embodied in Mr. Hopkins' famous family handbook. I thought better of it though, judging by the slightly purple colour of Mr. Oliver's face. The next day though, tired and baggy-eyed, I went up to a more composed Mr. Oliver and explained that I had only gone to the loo. He surveyed me in all my sleep-deprived glory and smilingly replied, "In hindsight, I may have overreacted." Such memories clearly illustrate the magic of Stonyhurst, but as this recollection shows, it is the people that make it a great school. Teachers here go to great lengths to help their pupils, and the amount of time they sacrifice is truly remarkable. I would like to thank all the teachers who have helped me and the other rhetoricians throughout our time here. It is greatly appreciated. Special thanks must be given to Mr. Strain, who has been an outstanding playroom master this year. Most people consider having to take direct responsibility for 60 18-year-old boys the stuff of nightmares, and with good reason, judging by the state and smell of most of our rooms. But Mr. Strain chooses to, and he is brilliant at it. The support and guidance he has given me this year has been most valuable, and for that and everything else he has done, I thank him. Someone who I believe does not get enough thanks is Karen Aldridge, the school counsellor. She offers her time, ear and priceless advice to all students, thereby greatly contributing to our collective welfare. She has been a tremendous help to me over these past 5 years, so much so that I have assured her that if I do ever become Prime Minister, she will have a permanent residence at 10 Downing. Thank you, Karen. As you make that turn to go down the avenue, you are immediately enveloped in more than 400 years of history. Being educated in such picturesque surroundings is as much a privilege as it is an opportunity, and as much the result of 4 centuries of history as it is the hard work and loving sacrifice of past generations. I would like to extend a great thank you to all parents, and to my grandparents and my mother in particular for fighting so hard to keep me at this school, and for my sister for helping me to settle in once I arrived. Special thanks must be given to my mother. These past 10 years have been extremely turbulent at times, but the example she has set and inspiring courage she has shown has given me all I need for the next 10 and beyond. This brings me on to the wonderful lessons of Stonyhurst and how they have effectively equipped each one of us for the challenges we will face. Being head of line has been an amazing experience and one I have enjoyed immeasurably. It has showed me a great deal about what leadership really is by showing me what it is not. I'm not sure what good leadership is, but bad leadership is trying to please everyone. Immanuel Kant once said, "Seek not the favour of the multitude. It is seldom got by honest and lawful means, but seek the testimony of the few, and number not voices, but weigh them." Above all, leadership is about staying true to your values, values like men and women for others and Corniship Queen. It is with your values that you can act with integrity in the present in order to move more confidently towards the future. However, it is not your ideals that make you who you are, but how you act upon those ideals. My hero, Robert Kennedy, expressed this brilliantly when he said, "Few will have the greatness to bend history, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation. It is from numberless diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is thus shaped. Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or seeks to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sees a million different centres of energy and daring. Those ripples build a current which can swipe down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance." This school has given me that sense of motivation and responsibility, that ardent desire to use what I have learned for the greater good. It is by getting involved in things like LTC and the Europe programme that I've realised that even the smallest amount you can do to help can make a huge difference. This is best summed up by a story I was once told, which I believe to be a great example of what Stonyhurst is all about. A man was walking with his dog along a solitary beach. In the distance, a man in a white coat was picking up objects from the sand and throwing them into the sea. The man with the dog went up to the man in the white coat and asked him what he was doing. The man in the white coat pointed to the ground, which was covered with washed-up starfish that had been washed up by the tide. He explained he was throwing them back into the ocean. The man with the dog looked down at the thousands of washed-up starfish, turned in disbelief to the lone man throwing them back one by one and asked, "Why are you doing this? There are thousands of starfish. It won't make any difference." The man in the white coat stooped down to pick up another starfish, threw it out into the sea and replied, "It made a difference to that. Leaving will be difficult. I will miss the beautiful buildings. I will miss the close-knit atmosphere. I will miss the long corridors. And I will, of course, miss Speedy's pizza, which delivered to Higher Line every night, alas, rarely on time. But above all, I will miss my friends, whom I have effectively grown up with. And I will miss the members of staff that have been such fantastic role models and great companions over these past 5 years. As we move towards the future then, rhetoric, we can do so here waits, and because of the collective efforts of these people, we have the tools to take advantage of those opportunities. Stonyhurst is much more than a school. It is an ideology, a community, a family. I think it's best I finish with a quote from who else but Mr. Oldham, 5 years ago when he was inspecting our dorms at 8:30 in the morning. If there was anything Mr. Oliver tried to teach us as a playroom master, it was responsibility. So when he noticed a boy come in late, he ticked him off, and then turned to the room full of 13-year-old boys and said, "I'm not just preparing you for dorm inspection, Lower Grammar, I'm preparing you for life." And you know what? He was right. Thank you.